Hi everyone, it's Marianne. Well, I'm Marianne Lu, and I am an artist and illustrator from Singapore. I'm recording this video today because I want to share a bit more about the portraits that I do. Well, I'm a Fiverr seller. This is a portrait that I did for a Fiverr client, and here's another one. This is quite recent, actually, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and this one. So this is an example of the kind of style that I have developed as a portraits artist. But I guess what I want to share about that is how I got into portraits and how the style wasn't always this way. So you get an idea of my um, evolution, if you may, as a portrait artist and what you can expect. So yeah, behind me you'll see some of my paintings. Ta-da! And the ones with the light blue sky are from my very first solo exhibition, which I organized and curated on my own about 2.5 years ago, and that was pretty much my big move into figuring out whether I could really be an artist or not. So I'm like, what the heck, I'm just gonna do my first solo exhibition, which is what I did. So I first started doing portraits because in Singapore every month we have this portrait drawing event at a monthly artist designer market type thing. One of the first, in fact the very first portraits event that I attended, um, this was one of the portraits that I drew that day, and this was actually my favorite one. I drew this as well, which actually really looks like her, but she didn't really like it. So, I mean, it's a portraits event where after that the people who pose for the portraits they're pretty much just regular people at the market, and they can decide later on if they want to buy the artist's portraits. So returned to this event, and my style kind of evolved along the way. I mean, yeah, so a lot of different styles that I tried with, I tried to experiment with, but none of them really stuck. And I think to me, art is always something where you have to kind of feel, you have to feel that you are happy with your work. And honestly, I wasn't too happy with most of those portraits. So anyway, I was asked to illustrate this children's book, right? And I was struggling to come up with character design, but what eventually came up, after a few trial and errors in this, you've seen the extent of what I was able to do. This actually here was the final, the character design that I presented to the author, and she really liked this girl, especially this one right here in the middle. So that kind of, light bulb went off because I really liked what I drew. I didn't know whether she would have accepted it, but I really liked it, and I was surprised when she accepted it. So that was kind of like, aha, I think I found my style somewhat. So I started to experiment with that during the monthly portraits event, and this is one of them that I came up with, and eventually evolved into something like this, and something like this. So it's kind of similar. There's a lot of similarities there because it's my style. Yeah, but I mean there are a lot of good artists at this event, and everyone has their own unique style. So it's really up to the sitter what they do like, and sometimes you just can't please everyone, which is why I find that the most important thing is, as artists, you have to be happy with your own work. And eventually we have my so-called Fiverr style today, which is pretty much how I would draw portraits at this portrait event anyway, although sometimes I do just try new styles. But pretty much on Fiverr you can expect to get a portrait that looks like this. I've tried as much as possible to follow the photos that you send me, unless you request something otherwise. I use a yellow background because I find after using a few other colored backgrounds that somehow yellow just really makes the whole thing light up. So I've stuck to that, and yeah, that's pretty much the portraits that I do. What I do, it's more whimsical, it's more dreamy. It's a style that really makes me happy, and I think that for my clients it makes them happy too, to see themselves portrayed in a very different and unique way. So yes, in Fiverr I do offer portraits like this, $5 for a digital scan, and if you want the original, just add another $5 and you get the original mailed to you, shipping included. And if you see something, well, if there's something that you want done which I haven't listed in the gig description, please send me a message and we can discuss it from there. Yeah, so do check out my website as well. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. If you have any questions, do send them over to me as well. or comment below in this video. That's all I have right now. Feel free to send me a message or comment below if you'd like to find out more, or if you just want to say hi. Okay, bye!